The year 1583. Gebhard, Prince-Elector and Archbishop of Cologne, has married and converted to Calvinism. Despite pressure from the Holy Roman Empire, Gebhard is unwilling to concede the power of his clerical office. Consequently, Pope Gregory XIII has excommunicated him. The Catholic Church has moved to throw their support behind Ernst of Bavaria, and with him the armies of the Counter-Reformation. Our story unfolds 3 years later in the besieged city of Neuss.
The Knights of the Shed Actual Play Podcast presents Zweihander, Escape the Noose.
And we're out of there.
The wagon and the cart are loaded up with a full complement of passengers. We've got Raphe in the lead and Helmut trailing behind in the wagon. Now, Raphe, how do you want to do this?
I think Raphe just pulls hard on the reins and just barrels out the gate.
Bat out of hell through the gate, and you take a hard right down the main street, heading towards the docks. As you turn onto the avenue, you realise that this isn't going to be as easy as what perhaps you'd thought from up on the roof. At the ground level, you notice that there's a lot more chaos on the streets. There is debris occasionally complicating the path ahead, and with the burning and the smoke and the occasional screams, it could be a little bit more difficult to control the animals and get them to do what you want.
Well, that's a risk we're going to have to take.
Steffi sits in the back of the wagon with the arbalist, holding it awkwardly. She's got somehow managed to get a quarrel loaded, and occasionally people tell her not to point it at them.
Yeah, no, I just lean back and just don't aim that thing at me.
Especially at the back of your head. So you race on down the street. Make a drive roll, you two.
Any modifier?
Now let's just go standard.
Under normal circumstances, I would be at an advantage here. Unfortunately, I'm freaking out.
I fail.
I'll pass.
Okay, Raphe, when you gun it out of there, the horses take a little bit of time to speed up, and this alerts Perosuchio and his men. They turn and have a look of astonishment on their face, and you can just sort of see them reach up and start to point, and they mouth the words, "Get them." But you're not sure if you actually heard that or not, because there's a lot going on. There's roarings of flames and chaos on the street. But you manage to get out the gate, at least, but it's not a heroic maneuver out, and they start running towards you with their swords drawn. So you're cruising down the street, and you've got Perosuchio and his gang following you. They seem hell-bent on getting to you. Make another drive test to see if you can, you can choose the actions you'd like to.
Well, I can't go any faster than the cart in front of me, unfortunately.
People in the back of your wagon are screaming, "They're gaining on us! They're gaining!"
Shoot them!
I mean, I guess we're going to gun it.
Yeah.
Okay, make a roll.
That is a success.
Okay. Yeah.
Do I have to make a drive?
Yes, please.
Fail.
Now might be a good time to ask how fortune points work.
How do fortune points work?
Well, you can pick one and you can roll your tens dice again.
Okay, sure. That's better. 26.
So initially you stall, but how does fortune smile on you in this instance?
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, a horse stumbles a bit, but it manages to right itself and it just keeps gunning ahead.
The screaming of all the passengers in the back as the troops approach also seem to rally your mounts as they quicken the pace. Jorg, who's got your hunting bow, he tries and shoots one with an arrow, and that is a hit.
Good job.
One of the men fall back with an arrow in his leg. You're still being pursued by Perosuchio, the gang leader, 2 other men, and his gypsy camp follower. Steffi says, "Do you think I should shoot with the arbalist?"
Yeah, give it a shot, yes.
Because Steffi is not proficient in this weapon, I'll have to flip the result. So the dice roll is 4 and an 8.
For 84.
84 would be a
Fail.
miss, and a 48 is also a miss. Luckily, there was no critical failure there. But one of the consequences is that she now only has 2 quarrels left.
Well, so be it.
You managed to leave behind the soldiers, but they're still ambling along after you, pointing and making a ruckus, saying, "Don't let them get away! All the Protestants must be killed!" As you pick up speed, it becomes a little bit more difficult to dodge the debris. And this is made more difficult by smoky haze and collapsed buildings that have fallen onto the street. And even in some places, the dead piled into mounds. Do you wish to keep on going at the same speed or slow down to maneuver?
I think I will slow down a little bit. If the soldiers are sort of dropping back behind us, I think I'll slow down and be a bit more careful now.
I don't have a choice. I'm right behind you.
Yeah, so I'll signal.
Yep. Okay.
Signal to Helmut.
Okay, you slow down to, which it's a safer course. And Perosuchio's men tend to, they're gaining. Roll a d10 each. Actually, Raphe, seeing that they can't go any faster than you, and add it to your movement, which is 11 at the moment.
So that's a 3, so 14 total.
The men run. They've got a movement of 7. However, let's see how they go. 11. What was yours?
14 total.
14. So they are catching up, but you're still some ahead of them. Abstractly, by 3 points you're ahead.
All right.
Okay, you get around the debris. What now?
Is the path clearer ahead, or?
It is. It is clearer.
All right, well, I think we gun it again.
Okay, let's see your roll.
Success.
Okay, you power ahead. I think it's doubling your movement.
I think it depends how many AP you spend. If it's 3 or 4, I don't know.
Because you've got the,
How do I get 4 for having Ghost Ride in effect?
it's 1 less.
Right, so I would have 3 in effect, right?
Yeah.
So that would be 3 times movement speed.
Yep. Okay, you power ahead. However, as the wagon passes a blind alley, you see a knight rear his horse about in pursuit. His lance, pendant, and garments are trimmed in gold, blue, and red, the house colours of the Duke of Parma. Could you also make a roll,
drive
please,
roll for
Helmut?
me too.
See if you can keep up with Raphe.
Yep, I've got a 14 on that.
So you're all speeding ahead,
Hmm.
and the knight is racing behind you. Could we all have another movement check, please, to see whether he's able to catch you or overtake?
So D10 plus speed?
Yes. Helmut, your speed's 10 plus whatever you roll, and yours is 11. Raphe?
I got a total of 20.
I rolled a 2, unfortunately, so 12.
The knight is off to a slow start. 10. Okay. Keep on racing along. Make another roll.
Can I signal back to Helmut, shaking the bottle bomb,
Yeah.
pointing at the knight?
Okay. I'll yell back to one of the others, just, someone fire off a bomb.
What do we do? You've not done this before.
Well, neither have I, but I think if you light the rag and throw it at him. Not the rag, the bottle.
These wagons are racing along, and they're starting to try and light some tinder and get a rag going. You realise that this could be disaster if it goes off in the back of the wagon.
Disastrous or hilarious?
Depends which wagon you're on.
If worse comes to worse, I can cut the cart loose and take off on a horse.
How much corruption is that worth?
Fortunately, throwing a bottle bomb is a simple ranged weapon, so when they throw it, they don't flip the results. Still, let's hope they don't have a critical failure. And it's a critical success.
Hey!
Oh, no.
With a critical success, it means that they can't parry or dodge.
He'd be all resplendent in his glowing.
Flaming.
If we're being really technical, I think Italians probably wore white armor, so they didn't have any. Like it was just plain armor.
No tabards or anything.
No, I think Italians wore very plain armor.
Stop wrecking Paul's storytelling.
Paul can tell whatever story he likes. I can cut my pedantry out.
But will you?
Yes, this is one of the fears of mine trying to do some sort of historical drama, was that it's so easy to pick when it's
Whether I edit it out will depend on whether I go on Wikipedia later and find out I'm correct.
Okay. The knight is going to make a ride check instead of a coordination check. And so the knight bursts through this fiery conflagration. He seems singed. Would you like to roll a d6?
Does he need to roll for his horse?
Oh, he is one with the horse.
A trained warhorse would be.
It could still get caught on fire, is what I'm saying.
I got a 3 on that dice,
They look singed, but they're still riding on.
and they're not on fire.
No. However, their movement drops back some by a d6. You want to roll the d6?
5.
Okay, drop back.
Slowed him down a bit.
considerably. You certainly have, but it looked spectacular. And for
That's
the
the
moment,
important
everyone's hopes were elated, and
Yeah.
then boom, came through that ring of fire. Okay, so you're riding on. Let's go for another d10 plus your movement.
14 for me.
12.
So Raphe is on 32, and you're on 27. And the knight is gonna gun it. Want a bit of a term, and he's successful. So he's keeping up with speed and still not doing nearly as good as you guys. You are starting to outpace him. He's on 13. Do you wish to just keep on going as is, or wish to make any other maneuvers?
Well, I'm staying behind the front cart.
Do you want us to do another bottle bomb?
Wait till he gets closer. How far away is he?
I guess equivalent of a round behind at the moment. Round and a half.
Just going to keep gunning it.
Yeah, hold off for a second.
So you guys are going through the streets pretty hell for leather.
Yep.
Let's go for another movement plus D10.
15 for me.
14 for me.
Catching up to you. How far behind the front cart am I?
Raphe is still in the lead with 46. You're shortly behind on 43, and the knight is on 26. Let's go for one more roll to see if you can outstretch him.
Just a D10 roll.
Just a D10, yep.
Got 12 that time.
14.
He gives up the chase. You have outpaced him in your with your driving. Well done.
Ah.
Raphe gives Clotilda some encouraging words.
As your wagons speed along, you can see recently slain citizens littering the streets, and their other cries and screams can be heard through the smoke haze. Presently, ahead is a soldier dragging a pleading civilian by the hair across the street. A small group of soldiers stand to the side, egging the soldier on and laughing, whereas some of those soldiers are looking a bit more grim. They all turn wide-eyed and flat-footed as the wagon and cart rumble towards them. So you've got a group of soldiers on the side. You've got a soldier dragging a civilian by the hair, and they're caught in the middle of the street. And they've just all turned and gone, whoa, what do you do?
Is it possible to swerve to miss the two in the middle?
Yes, yep, quite easily.
All right, well, that's the plan. Even if it means hitting the others.
There is a path through. That will be a standard sort of drive test.
Well, that's what I want to try and do.
Which side of the soldier and the woman are you?
Whichever side doesn't have the other soldiers standing on it, I guess.
Okay, because I was gonna try and lean out with my
The rolling
pin and
Nice.
Well, I'll try and swerve around so you can hit the soldier in the middle of the street, if that's doable.
Yes, that certainly is a possibility. Okay, let's go for the drive test first.
That's a fail.
Oh.
Okay, so you've got a choice. Run over the two people in the middle of the street, or sort of plough into one of the sides.
Does that mean hitting soldiers or hitting a building, or what's the...
It'll be 50% chance one or the other. And I don't mean like colliding with the building, but, sort of maybe you'll be able to make a jink test to try and avoid damage to the cart if you hit a building or the group of soldiers. It's not going to be good for them either way.
I'm just going to go through the middle.
Okay, you speed on through, and it wasn't intentional, but that rolling pin doesn't need to be used as the civilian is put out of a more terrible fate.
Look, Raphe tells himself, look, he couldn't have done anything else. He couldn't endanger everyone else on the cart. It wouldn't have been fair. Things happen in war.
Yes. As you go over the bodies, you hear that dunk dunk, dunk dunk. How about you,
I make a
Helmut?
quick calculated decision. If I plough into the soldiers off the side, do I think that that'll stop the cart or?
Only if you critically fail.
Quickly making this decision in my head, sort of flipping a mental coin. 1 to 3, I'll go for the soldiers. 4 to 6, I'll go. Nope, I'm going straight past.
Okay, you zoom on through. As you round the corner to your destination, which is the docks, you find that the street is completely blocked off. You're going to have to do this by foot, but first you need to slow that cart down. You're travelling quite quickly, so I'd like a routine drive test, please.
I pass.
As do I.
Okay,
Handily.
smoothly you guys bring the horses in, rein them in, and stop before hitting the barricade, which is a makeshift barricade between several buildings that have collapsed and fallen over the road. What do you want to do now?
Well, I think we better pile out and start moving the barricade.
It's going to take too long. You're going to have to do the rest on foot. There are alleyways and jigsaw of alleyways through the city to the docks, as well as probably one main big street crossing.
Alleyways.
Are they big enough for a horse to go down?
You could lead a horse through.
All right, well, I'm going to unhitch Clotilda.
Well, having seen that, I'll follow your lead and unhitch one of the horses, and I'm going to ask for my bow back.
Okay, Jorg gives it back to you.
Thanks, Jog, and good shooting.
He says, "Good driving there, little
Good
young
shooting.
lad. You're now, I have to call you a young man."
Thank you, Jog.
All right, how are you going to... You're just looking after number one?
Yep.
And you see Raphe head into the alleyways.
Oh, I'm just going to dodder after him.
I mean, I'm not trying to get away from anybody or anything like that. I'm not trying to sneak off on my own, but I'm just...
Moving with purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
It's a fun excursion. I haven't been out of my cloister for years. It's good to stretch the old legs.
You picked the right time to get out, says Jorg.
Yes, I did, didn't I?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure you could have found a better time to go on an excursion.
Now, the children, they can move reasonably well, but they needed a little bit of help getting over some of the rubble, and especially the younger one needs to be kind of carried or pulled, which the mum's happy to do. Unless any of you want to piggyback or drag along any of the kids.
No, I'm a frail old lady.
I'm actually pretty strong. I can take one of the younger children.
All right, you pop a few kids on your back, and the eldest one, they can jog along with you. The streets they're still quite dangerous, and there are regular soldier patrols. Are you going to take any special precautions moving through the back alleys?
Try and do it as silently as possible.
Okay, if you go more quietly and cautiously, you'll move slower. That's okay.
I'm just going to ramble. I haven't seen this part of the city. Oh, is that a new fresco?
Please.
I haven't seen that yet.
Quiet, please.
Quiet? Why
Just
do I have to
keep
be
it
quiet?
down.
I'll give you a rap on the noggin.
Sorry, ma'am.
Quiet. Quiet, girl. No time for your nonsense.
A lot of the people are looking to you for guidance. Does anyone wish to step up and take on a leadership role?
Yeah, Joan will definitely. Clap her hands, get everyone's attention.
I thought we were trying to be quiet.
Shush you. Everyone, orderly file into the alleyway. Quiet as you can.
While all this is happening, Raphe is just moving on.
I follow Raphe.
Chop, chop now. No time for dilly-dallying.
Whereabouts are you, Helmut, in the order of things?
Well, we've got a small group at the back.
It's you and Joan marshalling crowd control.
Sounds
around
like
the
it,
back.
yeah.
So I'll put Helmut in the front to lead through the alleyways.
Okay, sure.
And I'll dawdle along behind.
How are you going to organise this group of people to do what you want, when you want, how you want?
With the rolling pin and my willpower, browbeat them.
Okay, make an intimidation roll.
Fail.
They continue to mill around in confusion, making a lot of racket, stumbling, pushing. It's like herding cats.
Stay here and die then.
Just try and keep it down, okay? Look, we're doing the best we can, but you just got to keep quiet.
If they're not going to come orderly, I'm just going to leave them behind.
Yeah, well, I'll try and rouse them up.
Let's say we'll just go for a charm. Challenging. -10. Because it's not
10.
particularly inspiring.
This isn't going to happen. And it does not happen.
Okay, as you move along, the group is penalising your chances of stealth.
Is this true of Raphe, who's probably some distance ahead now?
Who's the loudest in the group?
Well, it varies. Sometimes it's the children, sometimes it's Jorg or one of the other men cursing. There's the drunk guy.
I'm going to slit the throat of the drunk guy.
How are you going to do this?
I'm just going to walk up to him and pull my shiv out and straight across his throat.
Okay, well, he is he's very surprised by this maneuver. You can do damage, and you can use 2 fury dice. And if you roll 6s, they explode, and you can roll them again.
And a 1. And another 1.
Okay, so you walk up to him and go for his throat, but you manage to draw a beer, open up along his collarbone, and he just looks at you in surprise. And all of the other people, they're aghast as well.
That's quite enough out of you lot. I'm not going to get killed in this alleyway because you're rabble-rousing. Now let's go!
Make an intimidation roll.
I'm intimidated.
That's a success.
Okay, they shut up. They fall in line, and the drunk, he's just standing there with his hands on his chest. He's been slashed pretty nastily, and he starts bleeding. Although the wounds aren't enough to kill him straight away, he's now gained the bleeding condition, and he's probably got 3 or 4 rounds before he expires.
It's got to take care of him. I look back to the other group, to my little, smaller group. So, look, can anyone help out? Can anyone patch him up?
Roll a d6. Let's see if anyone can help.
5.
No one's got any bandages or anything. And Marsh is ahead with Raphe.
Yeah, and I don't have any bandages anyway. Unless you want to give me some from when I...
Do I?
In times of difficulty, you can use just rags, but there's a chance of infection.
I have a cloak. I'm going to rip that up.
Leave him to his death.
Jeez.
So he sort of sits down and I could be dying tripping on the way to the latrine, or you could be dying in an alleyway slashed by your grandmother. Alas.
Bend down, give him a pat on the cheek. there, lass. You lived a good life.
Get the hell away from me, you old hag! But he's sort of, he doesn't do anything. He's more concerned about trying to staunch his wounds with his fingers. The cloak is probably a bit premature to put over him.
No, I don't want to cover him with it. I want to rip it up or something. And
you want to try and...
I want to try and staunch the flow.
In the meanwhile, Raphe and Marsh are moving ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to try and catch up with them now.
Well, they
here comes June.
They can pull ahead. I'm going to try and save this guy.
It's a bind wounds roll. So that's a heal.
So heal has one of the stars next to it. Does that mean it's a flip to fail if you don't?
Well, I'm probably just going to make it worse, but at least I tried. 55 or 52. I think it's going to pass either way. Yeah. No. Sorry. I failed. Bugger. Only just.
Is it standard difficulty?
Oh.
It'll be routine. They're not terrible wounds, they're just bleeding a lot.
So does that mean it's 59?
Yeah, so that'd be a success.
So it's a success, yeah.
Okay, you managed to staunch his wounds. As to whether he later becomes infected or not.
Okay, but I lean down and say, look, that was your one chance. You either shut up now or we will just kill you.
He goes, yeah, you're a bit of a prodigy. Yeah, local boy done good.
Yeah, I'm
All
growing
right.
up fast.
You are. You're already a man. Probably more of a man than I am. I better shut up, like you said.
Yeah,
So-
good. See that you do.
Moving through the streets. Raphe, can we have a bit of a awareness check, please?
Awareness. What difficulty are we talking?
Because of all the chaos going on, let's make it standard.
Does Marsha get a...
And Marsha too, thank you.
No, I fail.
I pass.
Roll a d6.
2.
As you and Raphe lead on, you hear to the side a moan. Almost missed it, over the under because of the burning buildings and so on. Please, kind sirs, help!
Raphe doesn't hear that, does he?
I guess I'll move over and see what's going on.
You see a citizen, a beam's fallen on their leg, pinning them to the ground. Please, grandmother, could you get me out of here?
Grandmother? I'm not Joan. Joan's back there.
Oh, sorry, my lady. Anything, please don't leave me here. The fire is going to catch up with me. The rubble will fall on me.
Can I assess the wound?
Yes, he'll check.
Yeah, it's a fail. 70.
It's too hard to tell. You have to move that beam.
Is there any rope around?
Roll a d6.
6.
There is a length of rope.
All right. Well, Raphe is scared and he does want to get away, but when confronted with somebody like this, his kind of gentler nature kicks in, and he finds the rope and he ties it onto Clotilda and onto the end of the beam and gets Clotilda to pull the beam up.
Make a routine animal handling.
Yes, I had to flip to fail and I still did it.
Well done.
15 or 51, so...
Under such trying times, you do a fabulous job of working together with Clotilda and move the beam, allowing you to assess that leg again. Oh, thank you so much.
No, I failed again.
Well, they try and move and get up. They can't walk.
I mean, I would obviously know that, not going to be able to walk.
And you're not sure what to do about this in terms of how to heal this.
Well, I
wound.
could treat injury as a focus, or is it a focus? Or is that a talent?
To treat injury,
Yeah.
you would need to. It's a pretty serious injury,
Right. So maybe
and that'd need rest. And
Raphe, you might want to assist him to God.
No, Rafe's going to haul him up over Clotilda's back.
bless you.
Like sort of like stomach first, like lying over
Yep.
Clotilda.
There's a big bearskin rug across.
Yeah.
Should have been a quick knife to the throat.
On that point, could you roll a D3 and take D3 corruption for attempted murder?
was there any corruption for running over that innocent citizen?
It was an
earlier?
accident.
Yeah, it was an accident.
3.
3. Okay.
How does the corruption work?
So at the end of the adventure,
Yep.
you will roll a D10, and if you roll over your corruption number, then
Under your corruption? It'd have to be under because the more you accrued, the harder it would be to roll over.
yeah. Let me start again. So you have to roll under your corruption, but if you've already got 10 points, that counts as an immediate chaos rank.
I have 8 corruption points at the moment.
Yeah. Well, there's a chance.
So what does a corruption rank do, Paul?
It will affect social interaction, and it tracks towards one part of your alignment a little bit more.
Is the opposite true that if you have no corruption, you get an order rank?
That's right. Do any of you feel like that there's more corruption you could have been accruing through your actions?
Raphe arguably might have accrued some for consistently kind of ignoring other people and kind of acting out of it. So his chaos alignment is cowardice. So that's what I'm playing towards there. So I don't know if that's worth corruption or not.
No, I think it's just good role playing.
All right.
As you put the man on the horse, he calls out, "Children, come out! These people are friendly!" And 2 children emerge from hiding. Can you take them with you as well?
Can they walk?
They're very little. In fact, the little one is holding the smaller one in a like a papoose.
It's a good thing we have plenty of people to carry.
Yes, there are people coming. One of them will carry you.
Oh, thank you, bless you.
And Raphe continues.
I follow Raphe.
Well, it looks like there's a couple more children to be scooped up.
Well, yeah, the mother was.
If
going
nothing
to-
else, we can sell them. I mean, no, cut that out.
Who would buy these children?
Protestants.
We'll find someone someone can carry them.
All right, Raphe, and Marsha. Marsha, do you have any stealth ranks?
No.
So
Not only do I have stealth ranks, but I'm also streetwise, which says it does say hide in a city. Does this count?
yeah,
I get plus 20%.
yep, go for it. So
I'm following him.
the next, I guess, challenge is crossing the main street over into some residences closer to the docks. So if you'd like to make it's going to be challenging because there are patrols. You're going to have to time it really well.
Can I use perception survival at all, or
No,
18 under 63. That's with the 10% penalty.
great. So you time it quite precisely, and you're able to get the whole lot across the street in time. They sort of just follow your lead and your timing. As the sort of end of the group start going through, one of you is going to need to make some sort of marshalling maneuver as they're starting to get a little bit undisciplined and tardy.
Yeah, so what ability is this one?
You could bargain, you could charm, you could use guile and trick them.
I'm going to promise not to
stab them?
not to try and murder anyone else if they all quick as a bunny cross the road.
It sounds like intimidation. Yep, you're going intimidation.
Okay. 16 is a success.
Okay, you get them into a semblance of order and they cross the street without incident. Over the other side, Raphe and Marsha, make a awareness check.
What difficulty?
Standard.
Nope.
I rolled a 1, so
Pick a number from 1 to 5 as you spy something.
3.
It's a number of arrows that come directly at you.
As you pass through, there seems to have been a scene of a battle here, maybe a bit of a last stand. There are several Spanish soldiers lying dead, and a man propped up a wall wearing the uniform of the city garrison. He seems to be bleeding, but he's conscious, and he sort of he plays dead initially, but then seeing that you're not soldiers, he kind of puts up his hand, asking for help.
Has he got a cloak?
Yep.
I'm going to use that as a bandage then for his wounds.
Okay, make a heal roll.
22.
Critical success.
Yes.
You staunch his bleeding, and you also notice upon inspecting his wounds, he's not going to be able to walk out of
We've
here.
got another horse though, haven't we?
You do have another horse.
Yep.
That's
Can we
true.
get him up on the other horse then? Yep.
He thanks you. He can't. He actually says this is a miracle. Thank you, sister.
Is there any weapons we can see on bodies and stuff that we can pick up on the way?
He kind of notices you, looking around for a weapon, and he points to some broken timbers to the side, and he says, "Take my sword."
I'll go get it.
When you investigate, it reveals a mortuary sword that he'd hidden there.
Is that a simple weapon?
It is not.
As you look around the scene here, there are some broken weapons. Roll a d6 to see if any of them are serviceable, and tell me what you're looking for too.
A dagger or a sword? I just rolled a 6.
Take your pick.
So yeah, I look for a dirk or a short sword.
You look around and you find a dirk.
Cool.
It's a one-handed weapon. It's finesse, so you can do your agility bonus in damage rather than your combat bonus. And it's light. It's a weak weapon, so I don't think you can do grievous injuries with it.
No grievous from weak weapons.
And it's fast, so enemies have a difficulty parrying it. Okay. You've scored 2 weapons and an injured garrison man.
Can anyone use this mortuary sword? We're sort of
What is it? It's martial. Oh,
martial.
It's a
weapon.
martial
mallet.
Sort of hold it at
Yeah.
arm's length,
no.
between 2 fingers, dangling it.
I hold up my arthritis-ridden hands. And
Come on, Grandma, it's got to be better than the rolling pin.
this rolling pin's got me out of a lot of trouble.
I think a mortuary sword, is it pretty much a long sword?
Oh, yeah, I think it's the equivalent in this game.
Well, maybe we can give Mr. Sir Knight his sword back at the end.
Okay, well, you're showing much kindness as you move on. The 2 horses are now laden with bodies.
I mean, I'm not sure what we're doing with them once we get to the river, but
As you move along, the 2 people in the lead, could you make further awareness checks?
no.
19. Yes. Pass it.
In the distance, you hear a boom and then something whistling through the air as a cannonball flies into the area where you're at. It's just sort of a random shot from the cannon. Everyone in the area needs to make a standard coordination test, and I'm going to make it easier because you heard it.
So I get a routine, or
Well, you can shout out a warning if you want to. Make a standard coordination test to get out of the way as it bursts into a building and shrapnel and bricks and mortar fly everywhere.
Failure.
I pass.
Failure.
I pass.
Okay, for those of you who didn't duck for cover soon enough, could you roll me 2d6 plus 4 in physical damage?
10.
13.
Okay, that's how much damage you take, so put that against your damage track.
It has to exceed a threshold to
Yep.
hit it, doesn't
To
it?
go over.
Okay, so it's my 1, so I go to lightly wounded.
I'm going to say if it was a critical failure, then you'd be bleeding, but it's more just random pepper shot.
Do we have to roll for an injury now, or...?
Are you're lightly wounded?
Yeah.
Moderately wounded for me.
Moderately. Okay, so yes, we need to roll for you on the moderately wounded chart. Well, there's a chance. So roll a d6 for me.
I got a 3, Paul.
So Joan is moderately wounded by the shrapnel blast, and ordinarily you'd roll a d6, and if it was a 6, then you would gain a moderate injury. However, you rolled a 3, and so you don't suffer a moderate injury.
So I'm going to say that Raphe, on that failure on his coordination check, was a result of him essentially trying to get in front of Clotilda and prevent her from getting hit by the shrapnel.
Selfless.
Only about his horse.
Yeah.
I think there's something going on there.
This is like one of his most important tools of his business.
Let's go for another stealth check as you
To standard
move.
or?
Standard, yeah.
All of us? Or?
All of you, yeah. For those who are leading the commoners, that's going to be challenging.
Failed.
Fail.
Okay, not critical failures though.
I pass, and I got 69.
You do it sexily.
It's very nice.
Fortunately, you don't give your position away. However, you hear a shout saying, "There's someone over there in that direction." It is the voice of Perosukio. They've got to be around here somewhere. You move on. Another awareness check. Hopefully you won't run into him.
Is that everyone, or
Those in the lead.
finally passed one by 1?
I failed by 2.
Again, you notice there's a blood trail going in the same direction you are, and sort of sitting on a doorstep is a Spanish soldier. He kind of looks at you, but there's no fight in him. He just sort of opens his hands as if to say, "I guess this is the end."
I'm sorry, but I bandaged him.
Good. I'll help if I can.
Make a roll.
I keep moving.
42. That's a 42 and is a success.
Okay. He as you're bandaging him, he takes you by the hand and gives you a meaningful look.
I just pat him on the head and move on.
He says, "Take care and do not go left at the next junction."
I'll pass that on to Raphe.
Do you want to go left at the next junction?
No.
Okay, you sneak through further. Does anyone want to go left at that juncture?
No.
Is it like does it look safe? Like that some of the civilians might want to go down that abandoning us, or
They're just following orders at the
Okay,
moment.
yeah. So, no, we're going right.
Yeah, they've been well cowered.
I'm gonna hand out a couple of rations to the kids and keep them happy and quiet.
A lot of them aren't hungry, but the kids certainly, some of the other people eye the food and they're like, "Oh, how can you think of eating at a time like this?" But the children, they seem to just take it in their stride and they munch down on some bread and cheese and some small goods. Keep on moving. Let's go for final awareness check.
Fail.
I succeed.
Raphe goes to step out at the wrong moment, but you pull him in. And you manage to avoid what appears to be a group of soldiers looting a house up ahead. You're going to have to backtrack, but you don't have to go that left-hand path. And again, can I have a stealth check as well?
I pass.
Pass.
Fail.
Fail.
Those of you who are in the lead move well, swiftly and quickly, undetected. However, in the back, things are not as harmonious. You're spotted by Perosukio. And he says, "There they are! Get them!"